What is up, guys? This is going to be the producer's commentary edition of my C418 The President is Dead remix that I did a few days ago. So I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the project file here, what went into making it, some of the struggles I had while I was making it, so I hope you enjoy. So here we are in the Ableton project file. And as you can see, I'm using 66 tracks, which is not really normal for me. Usually on most of my tracks I'll use maybe 20 or 30 tracks, so going up to 66 track count is pretty insane. As you can see, let's get it like that. A lot of these are just effects, so sound effects like little bleeps and bloops and squelches or whatever, risers like right here. And just using a lot of different sound effects in a track, I figured out can really make it more interesting. So I went ahead and added just a bunch of that. And as you saw in the beginning there's some very, very soft ambient forest rain sounds, which C418 uses a lot in all throughout his album Excursions. It's basically to kind of get the listener in a place and kind of immerse them in this atmosphere and make them feel like they're going somewhere. And I always really like that about the album Excursions. I think Excursions was actually one of the very first albums that really got me into electronic music. I mean, there was stuff before it that I loved, but C418 really helped me get into electronic music. So I think it's only fitting that I remixed one of his songs as one of my first remixes. And actually, the first remix I ever did, which was like when I very first started, I did a remix of Wait, which is from Minecraft. But I decided to do one of his lesser known tracks because I thought that would be cool. As far as I know, no one has remixed this track before, so that was really fun to do. Yeah, and so we're up here at the drum section now. You can see we have a couple different layers. Snare layer, clap layer, and then there's a few hi-hats here. And I tried to mostly copy his arrangement. As you can see up here at the very top is the original track, and then down here is my arrangement. I definitely changed a few things where I thought, you know, maybe I'll do this a little bit differently just to make it interesting. And now we're on to the ambient section. And this is something that C418's tracks are very well known for. And especially in Excursions, you just have these very dancey sections in contrast with more instrumental soundtrack-like sections such as this. So there's this beautiful instrument here. This is actually switching using Ableton's chain selector here. I have different zones set up so that it's going to switch between these three different instruments. So that's actually how I did that. And C418 does something very similar where he switches between the instruments like that. It's like a crossfade sort of thing. I'm not sure if he's using the chain selector, but he might be, because I know C418 does use Ableton, so he very well could have used the same technique, but I don't know. He also could have just used separate tracks. I was going to do that, but I honestly just found it easier just to use this one knob here. If I go show automation, it's just switching gradually between these three instruments, which is nice. And now we're getting some more build up here, and it's going to switch to a secondary synth just to give it some more interest there. If you actually listen to this mix on a car stereo or on a nice speaker, you'll actually be able to hear the bass. I made sure to put quite a bit of bass, so hopefully you enjoy that. Also, looks like this track here is disabled. That's not supposed to happen, but oh well. I think it's enabled in the full track, at least I hope so, because I think it took me like half an hour just to design that one sound. Yeah, so fun fact, now that we're on that subject, this track actually took me about 3 weeks to complete. I definitely could have done it much faster than that, but it was just such a long and complicated song for me that it ended up taking me a lot longer than I thought to create it. But I had so much fun making it, and I can't wait to do more remixes in the future, so we'll see what comes of that. And originally, actually, the song ended right here. I was just going to do up to this last drop here, but I ended up doing the entire thing because I said, why the heck not? And I'm really glad I did because it's so much more satisfying to listen to with the second drop, and especially I really like the cool bass that comes in here. And so this is actually a duophonic patch right now. It's actually playing 2 notes at once. As you can see right here in Diva, very good synth, by the way. If you don't know Diva, it does excellent emulations of the Mini Moog, MS-20, the Roland Jupiter 8, so on and so forth. And what's cool is that you can actually switch out modules here and take different filter designs and such. So I'm running the duophonic mode, which lets me play 2 notes at once, but nothing more, which is perfect for this. I wanted to copy his bass line as closely as possible and ended up doing this, which is the duophonic. It's the closest way I can think of to mimic the sound that C418 used, and I think I got it fairly close while still being different and sort of interesting. Speaking of different and interesting, up here is a arpeggiator. This is not present in the original song, but I decided I want to add my own flair, and one thing I do a lot is arpeggios, so I said, why the heck not? I will use some arpeggios here. And this was also a suggestion from a friend of mine. He also said, why don't you use arpeggios? And I said, you know what, that's actually a really freaking good idea. So then there's this 30-second note arpeggio, which is kind of hard to follow, but I think it sounds cool, so whatever. There's no rules, right? Fun to look at too. And yeah, a lot of times it's mostly Diva and Serum here. Here's Diva again, running this. Not duophonic actually. Polyphonic, but with some glide built in. So polyphonic glide sounds really weird. Basically, it's trying to glide between 2 notes at the same time, and it doesn't really know what to do, so I ended up disabling the glide for some notes and turning it on for other notes to make it sound as close as I could to the original. I think I got fairly close. I'm not like too concerned about the details, but I think getting it close enough was definitely one of my goals. And hopefully I accomplished that. You can also see here this snare, this is something to note, is that this snare is actually built out of a hi-hat. It sounds pretty convincing as a snare, but it's actually a hi-hat that's down-pitched by like 30 cents and then some other effects on it to make it sound kind of like a snare. So maybe I'll do a tutorial on that at some point. And here we go, it's just fading out, and now the track is complete. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a thing or two about what I do. Please don't like this video because that would be horrible. Alright, thank you, catch you later.